It is Stoma Awareness Day, and I would appreciate it so much if you could stick around to listen to this. So what is a stoma? Roughly 200,000 people in the UK are living with a stoma. A stoma is where part of the gut is split and it comes out into a bag through your stomach, basically. And this is just a warning for a little bit of a graphic image, just to help you understand what one is. So this is what the stoma looks like. It's a bag attached to my stomach, and the red thing is what the stoma actually is. So food will travel obviously down through the mouth and then down, and the waste products come out of the stoma. This means there's a lot less time for the body to work in the gut to absorb fluids and food because it passes out into the bag. So some people will need to have fluids running through a drip, or they'll have what is known as a PN, which is a feed that gives them nutrients. I personally use one as a top up on top of food for what I can't absorb. There are many reasons why people will have a stoma. Often it's due to a chronic illness, such as Crohn's or an inflamed bowel, ulcerative colitis. There's all different reasons. For me, my gut twisted and cut off the blood supply, and a stoma was made. I had this done, and that stoma wasn't very nuts to me. It got retracted, which means instead of it sticking out of the bag here, it was flush to the skin, and that means there's a lot more chance of risk of leaks because it's not actually sticking out into the bag. When a leak happens, it burns, let me tell you. Oh my god, it burns your skin. And it is a vicious cycle because once that happens, your skin might start to weep. And when it weeps, the adhesive of the bag doesn't stick to you. And it just, therefore, leaks and just goes on like that. Often you'll see people with stomas that have got a bag attached to the stomach and a part of it will be rolled up. When it starts to fill up, then they need to empty it. However, I've got a high output stoma, and I wanted to tell a bit of my story because I didn't have anyone with a similar condition. They didn't have the high output stoma. It means I lose a minimum of 2 litres a day out through the stoma, and because it pumps so much and I don't get long before I'll finish eating, and once I've finished eating, it's already pumping out for me. So that's why I'm on PM. What actually happens is, instead of my bag being rolled up and I empty it, it's got a little tap on the end, and that slots into the tube of this, which is another bag that I put in a nice little drawstring bag so you don't have to see the contents, and I have to carry that around in a frame. For people living with a stoma, it can be life-changing for different reasons. It can allow someone to have a healthy lifestyle where they used to have an issue with their gut, and now with the stoma being made, it's changed their life. They can just carry on with daily activities. But that's not always the case for everyone. With me, I find this the most restrictive part of my conditions. My gut twisted itself again inside a hernia, and it resulted in me getting sepsis, going into intensive care, a coma, and having gangrene in necrotic parts of me, and they didn't know what was going to happen if I was going to live or not. As a lot more of my gut was cut away, there's a lot less time, contents to be absorbed. And as I have to have this bag and stand, it means that the medication that I was on when I was in intensive care affected all my limbs, and as you can see, I've had damage to this hand with my foot. I have no toes anymore, and I'm also an amputee below the knee. But it is the stoma that is holding me back more than anything. It changes everything. With my old stoma, I could have a lot more foods it would allow, but there was a lot of cholesterol blockage when it comes to food and stomas. Now I have to adjust what I have to avoid certain foods. I have to actually blend some of my foods to be able to eat so that the stoma doesn't get clogged up. And also the output of stomas is a lot more liquid because the body's not been able to absorb that fluid you intake. That leads to a lot more coming out, and I have to empty it a lot more. If I'm in the wheelchair, I have to carry this between my knees, and if it's heavy, obviously that's going to wobble. So I need it to be as light as possible, really, as I need to use my hands to wheel myself. If I've got my leg on, I have to carry it around, or I'm basically on a leash. I get anchored, I can't go anywhere, and it pulls, which would then, if it was heavy, could potentially rip the stoma bag. Also, daily living is a lot harder with a stoma. It's a lot more restrictive. It stops me going out. So I have to manipulate the output down the tube, or if it's too thick, I have to flush it out. It's a nightmare to deal with, basically. I can't go for long periods outside. I have to time things. I can only do things at certain times of the day because I know it's going to pump. And it makes you really question, should I be on food? Should I be on the feed through my arm? I don't know. But I would prefer to eat food and deal with it that way. If there was just a better way to manage it, I don't know. It would be a lot more helpful. I tried to create content online. I was inspired by seeing Bal Babe talk about what she went through and how she lived with a stoma. Also, there are other people such as Stoma Babe and Adele Roberts who have been a voice for people with stomas. And it's really meant so much that people can start to learn and get an understanding of other people. But I've not seen people living with a high output stoma and having to deal with this. And I'm sure there must be other people going through the same situation. I want them to feel less alone because I didn't have that. So if I can be a support to someone, and you get different tips from people sharing their stories, and they think upon something that you didn't know existed, and you can try these different products and that. It means so much having that security in your stoma bag. It stays on you. It could just be a very, very messy situation. Bag changes, you have to really prepare. It takes it out of you mentally dealing with a stoma, because you have to prepare everything, you have to have everything out at hand. Because if you don't, and you don't have it in an order, then you'll take more time. You need it to be as efficient as possible, otherwise it'll start pumping and you'll be in an even bigger mess, you'll get stressed, and it can really affect your mental health. The way I try to raise awareness is through information like videos like this. I try to do things a little bit more light-hearted, just so it doesn't feel like I'm ramming information down your throat, because you ain't going to want to see that. So please send this on to someone if you think it can help them. And I appreciate you so much for sticking around and listening to this. And if you think there is anything wrong or not quite right with your gut and you feel something's up, please get it checked out, because it could be life-saving and it can really prevent long-term damage happening to you. Please take care of yourself. Have an understanding that you don't always know what's going on with people, so have a bit of respect. I appreciate you so much. Have a lovely day.